All right, first and foremost, want to give honor and glory and all praises to Yahweh, Bashin Yahweh Shabbat Shon Kakwadash. Want to give double honor to the apostles that rules well, or GMS, that we learn from, that teaches well and rules well. Peace, blessings, salutations to Yakim, that's pushing, striving, maintaining their mental state, waiting for the Lord, knowing that we are prisoners of war in these chains of darkness. You Aqua for tuning in, that understand that you're a woman, being silent, humble, and waiting as well. Israelite foreigners that are scattered. I'm going to show a video. This is a prime example of how these women today envy men. And it's to the point, how Esau, it goes back to, how Esau has turned things upside down. And basically saying, to have told these women, it's like your shortcomings and it's not fair. So pretty much they're like little brats, spoiled brats, bad kids that's angry that they're not like can't be like men. But the thing about it, see, women have never taught the meaning of being a woman and the point of being a woman. Here in this society it's a gender war. It's a constant bickering between the Israelite men and the Israelite women. So these women get on these platforms and they sprue out their envy towards men, because Esau basically told them, it's not fair that, they'll be labeled a whore if they do what men do. That it's a wage gap. It's a such and such and such and such and such. So these women are envious of men, and now that they hate that men can do certain things that they can't do, and it's a constant bickering. One thing is they're mad about men can have multiple women, kids and so forth, and they can't go out there and be a whore and a slut and have a different bunch of men. But that's not how the Lord made it or orchestrated. Pretty much the Lord made a man precious. And I'm not saying that the Lord didn't make the woman precious neither. But the thing about it, that's why the scripture says, who is man that he give reverence to, So that's just the order of things. The scripture, like the scripture says, keep the ordinance of. Let me get that real quick. Bear with me one moment. Let me see. Okay, the ordinance of things. All right. So keep the ordinances. I believe it's I think it's First Corinthians. Yeah. So scripture says, 1 Corinthians 11:1, be ye followers of me, even as also am of Yahushua. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinance as I delivered them unto you. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Yahushua, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushua is Yahweh. So that's the order of things. And we were supposed to keep that ordinance. And yes, it's things that men can do that women can't do. And it's things that men can't do. If I'm saying it right, it's things that women can't do that men can do. It's things that men can't do that women can do. The Lord put it all in the scriptures, So women are supposed to be led just as men are led as well. A woman is supposed to be supposed to submit and serve her man. So I'm gonna let this video play for a little. I don't know exactly where the part is. This fucking YouTube, man. So go to this.
Searching for a new car? Your Toyota dealer can work with you.
Dennis,
sir. You there?
At your service, sir.
Give me Cam Newton and Brittany Renner.
Will do, sir.
Dating and like where it is now, there's not a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm interested, by the way. And
There's a part in the video where she basically said, I don't know where exactly where it's at, but she basically said, why is it that men can have women, deal with a lot of women and they're not called whores, but a woman, why can't a woman lay with a lot of men? If she do the same, she's labeled a whore. But one thing it tells you in the scriptures, there's no scriptures out there that tell you that if a man lay with a lot of women, he's gonna be put to death. And it is not a scripture, no scriptures saying if a man lay with a lot of women, he's a whore. Now, it's scripture that talks about harlots, and we all know what harlots are. And in the scripture that talks about if a woman lies with another man, she committed adultery, and she shall be put to death. And it gets to a point. This is why the nuclear missiles has to hit, and it's going to because, as a society where, people have pierced themselves with, many sorrows. And those where I can do a lesson on that later on as well. But we live in a society where people are bugged out, and they have been done so many vile things. It's to the point of to the point of no return. They're only going to get worse and worse and worse, added sin upon sin, especially of Israel, so-called Negro, Latino, Hispanic, Native Americans. Because here in this society, you've been pretty much brought up to thinking we were just average people, regular citizens. Everybody was the same and so forth. You were envious of the so-called white people, so you wanted to be like them. Now, not realizing it was a recompense for that. So our people have become, the so-called black woman wanting to be like the so-called white woman, and we all know that the so-called black woman envies the so-called white woman. And now she's now she's living her lifestyle, and now she's not happy because we know that the so-called black woman is of the tribe of Judah. She's the real Jew. So your lifestyle is not to live like a Edomite. This is their kingdom. This is their this is their time to shine in wickedness. And if you live like them, they're a nation they're lawless. They do what they want. I was hearing about people were talking about that. Well, I was talking to Northern Kingdom, and they're pretty much saying, so-called white people, they can do drugs and all that, and get up in the morning and get up to go to work. They can get caught and they can get caught in certain things, and again, there's favor, like the scripture says, favor has been shown to the wicked, so they get favor. But when it comes to our people, no, none so. So when the so-called black woman has tasted that, that limelight and saw that, and she has that liberty to live like them, and now it's a recompense for their actions. The only thing they do is start crying and bitching, and only thing, by the time they turn 40, they start getting up in age. They realize don't nobody want them, and that's what you fail to realize. So the only things are going to happen from that point on, they're just going to only get worse, and they're going to start getting more angrier and angrier and angrier and talking more shit. That's why it's going to get to a point of time where this bitch, her time is up. She gonna be the next. I think her name was what, Chelsea, Presley, whatever. The so-called Miss Universe 2019 chick that jumped out the building. She's probably gonna be the next one. You'll see. That's what these women fail to realize. But this is these women are very envious of men, and that's why when you out and about, on a out there, you try to talk to these women. These women really hate you. These women, they don't like you. They don't like us. The so-called black women, they do not like so-called black men. And it's evident. It's evident. And it's a lot of so-called so-called Hispanic, Latino women. They don't like so-called black men either, and they don't even like their men. And a lot of stuff is coming out. I talk to Northern Kingdom a lot. here in Virginia, it's a lot of Northern Kingdom. I hear the conversations, man, and it's not looking too good for Northern Kingdom as well. They're part of they're of the house of Israel, so they're cursed too. And with a lot of things going on, their women are starting to envy their men. They hate their men. So Proverbs 14:30, and it all goes back to this damn devil. The sound heart is life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones, man. So that's one thing the Lord taught us not to do is have be envious. This is the definition of envy. Where is it? Where'd it go? I'll just look it up again. Definition. Yeah. So it says envious, feeling or showing envy. I'm envious of their happiness. You ever get around so-called black women? They see the so-called black men, happy and so forth. They start getting jealous, man. He says jealous, feeling or showing envy of someone or their achievements and advantages. You see that? The so-called black woman is angry that the so-called black man can have more than one woman. But go again. All this has to do with Esau bringing in monogamy. And when you really look at monogamy, it started around the Greek Empire to the Roman Empire. And when you look at what really was the meaning of that, and if I'm not mistaken, what I read on, it was pretty much those men, those Edomite men, they didn't really like women. They didn't enjoy women. So what they would do was marry women, their women that had they had great father with kings. They had they had substance. Cause that's pretty much even in this society, that's where power couple and shit like that. But that's I don't want to get off topic, but those women that they were marrying in Greek, those Edomite women, they had substance from their father, and those men would marry them and then divorce them and take, because once they married them, what she had belonged to the man, so he would marry her and throw her away, pretty much get rid of her, because he basically stole what she had. So I would as you women, you hear that you talking all this shit, talking about why this and why that and this and that. Well, you need to really look into monogamy, because one thing you got to look at, you have sister wives, you're more, it'll make you more confident, and you wouldn't be friendless. These women now, they tell me, they're lonely, they ain't had no friends, they had nobody to talk to. If you had a sister wife, it'll be more better for you, more order, more structure. And the one thing about another thing too is nation building. The thing I see when when you leave the house and so forth, you see these women, they got these kids, cause they're single mothers, and they live amongst these neighborhoods, they live amongst Esau, and a lot of these women are scared for their children to leave the house. I mean, hey, it's a fucked up world we live in, but you gotta ask yourself, when you women that have kids, when they go outside, or even if you go out there to walk with your child, you gotta understand we live in wicked times. So if a man, say you had a son or a daughter, here it is, a creep will come up and be like, hey, take your child, or beat you, hit you up beside the head. And basically what I mean is our nation is no structure, no order, our nation is defenseless, because again, there's no family structure, and due to these women and how envious they are, they're willing to do all this shit on their own, and they don't think about family, they don't think about the larger picture, they think about themselves. They're selfish, so they don't realize what you're doing is really, you're putting your life in jeopardy in the kids, and that's what's really, and you're going to see that in times to come. So it says covetous, having or showing a great desire to possess something belonging to someone else. So the so-called black woman, Hispanic woman, they want the lifestyle of men. Desirous, grudging, resentful, jaundiced, You're affected by bitterness, resentment, or envy. Um, Malicious, bitter, spiteful. You know. So that's the definition of envy, and that's these women. You know. That's why when you talk to a lot of these women, they don't like you. That's why you got a monkey dance and trick dance and back flip, side flip. You got to sing. I know how to be a rap. Got to be a thug, and you got to be. It's just too much now, man. So Proverbs 14:30, a sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. Just gonna go on now. Galatians 5:19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. And a lot of these bitches are going to die with their envy. That's going to be cause of their death. That's why the scriptures are, and another thing too, man, it just all out of order, man. And that's why America has to be destroyed. So let me see. With 1 Peter 2:1, wherefore laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speaking. These women get on that platform. Going back to again, man. Just look at rap music. And they're also doing a lot of this amongst Northern Kingdom, dembo, reggaeton. I remember hearing and looking at those women that they're allowed to put on rap songs, or dembo songs, and so forth. So it's all out of our people are just through, and it's to the point where our people just got to get destroyed by nukes. So, and that's all, because this is all what comes out of our people's mouths, man. Let me see. Yep. One time we were in these things as well, but now we come out of these ways of the world, and we know that this the meaning that the end goal of living in this lifestyle. I mean, living in Black culture, Latino culture, Hispanic culture. So Titus 3:3, for we ourselves were sometimes foolish, being disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful and hating one another, black on black crime, Latino and Latino crime, Hispanic crime, black and brown crime, black women fighting each other, Latino women fighting each other, black women fighting so-called Latino women. I see it a lot. Now, again, not too long ago, maybe about a month ago, I seen there was these so-called black women and so-called Latino women. They was ready to get to fighting. So yeah, man, we come from these areas and places where this is all we saw. We saw the black woman, just hate. Well, and again, we come from out of it, and then we're still amongst it. And that's why we know, stay away from it. And that's why we're out there making these lessons through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, on housing the byways to let our people know that, if you live like this, it's going to be recompense for you. You're going to reap what you sow. So James 3:16, for where envying and strife is, there's confusion in every evil work. And what is it? What scriptures that talks about the land of deceit, lies, and hypocrisy, and that's America. America is very wicked and evil. It's a lot of envy in here, man. That's why they deem that America women, the women of America is the fucking worst, man. The worst fucking woman on the planet, man. And when you come here, it's telling you, man, it's wicked, it's evil. It's a lot of confusion. These women are now that that's what, and again through feminism, man. They're teaching these women that men did this to them. They were slaves. Your grandmother was a slave. Your mama was a slave. Men are wicked, they're evil, they're cruel, masculinity, toxic masculinity. Men shouldn't fight, and this and that. And And now these women, they hate men, man. They're going gay now. And it's crazy, man, because bros that been in Atlanta, on they call here DMV, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Man, the homosexuality rate is going through the roof. Trannies, all time high, and you would think, these women would feel a certain way. Man, these chicks here love them. They're their best friends, and that's why, and that's what they. Esau wants to see so-called black Hispanic men like that, and your own woman, and your own mama will even accept you that in that predicament, man. You know. So and again, and why it's like this, because America is a land of confusion. There's every evil worker in this place, man. And it's only just going to get worse. There's nothing really going to get better. That's why the Lord has to come back. That's why you have to be in that mindset that, America has to be destroyed, man. You ain't no help in this place. Last one, Mark 7:20. So it said, he said that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man, from within, out of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, and evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. So, and that's the works of everybody that's here in America, majority. Only the elect is gonna, not speak as such, speak these things. Again, we come from areas where this is all we heard. We thought this was glamorized among us, put in front of us. Hand-me-downs. I mean, you had wicked ass uncles, aunts. That they pretty much taught this shit to us. Instead of them teaching us the way of the Lord, how it was pleasing to the Lord, they taught us black culture and Hispanic, Latino culture, ways of death. But with that, Lord's will, hope y'all was edified. Again, man, Salaki. Find a fucking video again, man. Shit is pissing me off. Watch, well, you ain't gotta watch it, but this video right here, man. I don't want to get a copyright, but I was gonna let it play the cipher through it. But yeah, why this, if bros, you can check it out if you want. This guy, Manosphere highlights. He got the beginning. It's funny to me. He has a lot of good content, but yeah, man, it's a lot of women like this, man. A lot of them. They just want status. They think they can be men and they want crowns. Man, it's just sad, man. But with that, I'm saying shalom.